Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. I hope you guys are having a really good is it Thursday already? Is it really Thursday, you guys? I haven't had a stream in a couple nights because my internet was messed up last night. Yeah, just since Tuesday. Sorry. And I was just busy playing with my makeup and then you guys. So I was at Sephora, I don't even remember, a couple months ago, maybe a month ago, and she recommended this brand of mascara, and it started out really good, but it's gotten kind of gross, and it's like super soppy and like sloppy now when I get on it. So if you guys have recommendations for different mascaras that are volumizing and full, like whatever, let me know, because this Urban Decay I am definitely not impressed with. It started out really good, but it's gotten super gross, and I've had it for like a month and I don't like it. It's sloppy. All right, so just get some fake lashes. Oh, Jessie Bear. All right, you guys, I did a couple shorter streams today, and I would encourage you to check them out. A lot of you have been asking for shorter videos, and before we get started, I just want to do a couple pieces of housekeeping because there's been some comments I've had on Twitter and some comments in my threads, and I haven't responded to everything. I've been deleting a lot of comments, but first off, we have a couple rules in our live chat. And I want you to visit our community tab before you participate in live chat. And if a moderator times you out, do not get sassy with them. Do not ask. You can ask why you got timed out, but do not argue. And if you have problems in chat, do not come to me afterwards and ask me to sort things out, because I cannot. I have moderators in the chat there for a reason to handle everything. And Jessie Bear is my number one go-to girl for questions. She knows all the rules. She and I have talked extensively about sort of what I want and sort of what she's looking for in the chat. And Jessie and I talk like every single day. So really, if you have questions, she is going to be the person that you want to talk to in the chat, because she knows the rules as good as I do. And she is from Philly, or from PA. So she's a little bit straight edge, or straight to the point. So if she's direct with you, don't get sassy with her. That's just her personality. She's a sweet, sweetheart, and she just doesn't tolerate BS, all right? So we don't deal with, like, you're not coming onto my chat to groom people. We are not a place to sell things. We are not a place for you to talk about your issues that you're going on at, like if you are suicidal, if you are struggling with depression, if you are dealing with something with a mental health issue, please seek help. Do not use the chat as a means for this. None of us are mental health professionals, and there has been quite a few of you, a couple that we've actually had to remove simply because as much as we want to be able to help, it becomes disruptive to the group, and we don't have the resources to help you. We can provide you phone numbers to speak with counselors. If you are feeling a specific way, you can contact the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. There's lots of different things for you to do, but using the chat is definitely not going to be the right place to get you the help that you need. And I've seen that a couple times now in the last couple weeks in the chat. So I just wanted to put that out there. We absolutely are sensitive to individuals that struggle with mental health issues. I have ADHD. I totally get it. I just don't want you to think that like our chat is going to be the answer for those problems. So please seek help. Okay. And finally, if you are, I get a lot of messages on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram, and on, I don't even know, my email. And as much as I want to be able to respond to everything, I have a lot of cooks in the oven. I usually, mornings, I'm writing for my column. I have 3 articles that I get out every single day. And so I just don't really have a lot of time to chit chat. And then some of the stuff that I get questions about are really not things that I can answer, or I get a lot of like requests for random like editing and that kind of stuff. I'm not an editor. I'm a writer, and I have this YouTube as sort of like a way to interact with you guys. And if I don't get back to you right away, I apologize. I get a lot of messages every day, and I don't respond to everything. I wish I could. It doesn't, and it's not me being arrogant and saying to you like I'm too big time to respond to you guys. That's really not it. It's just I seriously like have so many different things I got to get done in a daily basis that I can only prioritize so much. But if you do have something that you want to talk to me about, my DMs are always open, but just know I may not respond right away. Okay? And I think that was it. Oh, and I got a lot of really nasty comments, like a ton of nasty comments for my last Marlena video. And my final thing is like, if you're going to come on my page and disagree with me, that's totally fine. I don't expect any of my viewers or the people that follow me to agree with every single thing I say. What I'm not going to be okay with is if you come on to my comments and you just start calling me names. Like, I had to delete comments of people calling me inbred, people calling me ugly, people accusing me of being a terrible mother, people telling me that I don't know how to do what I'm doing, people that say like I'm a horrible person, that I'm writing clout, that, I mean, if you want to get your point across to me, there's a lot of ways to engage with me, and calling me names and like making accusations about my parenting or like what I do on a day-to-day basis or how I run my column or anything like that, like that's not going to get you like the response that you desire. If you're here to just troll and just say a nasty thing, fine, but I'm just going to delete it. If you are curious and really do want to have a valid conversation, I had plenty of interactions with people that didn't agree with me about the Marlena take I did a couple days ago. And it doesn't mean like, just because I have an opinion about her doesn't mean that you have to agree, but it also doesn't mean you have to be nasty. And just because I don't think that your queen is who she says she is, that doesn't mean that I've told you that Santa Claus doesn't exist, all right? So, I just don't have a lot of patience for doing that. And I think the really, I think the worst comment I got on my comments today, and I just want to address this and be done with it, but someone made the comment, and I think it's really super rude because you know nothing about me, but insinuating that I'm a bad mother because when my son interrupts me during a live stream, I look annoyed or I'm irritated. Okay, first off, when my son comes in here at night, it's usually because we have a routine. And this implication that I'm somehow ignoring him and like not cuddling with him or not doing my job as a mother is actually super atrocious. If you knew anything about my life, you would know that my entire life revolves around my son. And every night before I get on stream, I give him a bath, I give him his medications, I do his feeding tube, I vent his stomach, I get him like all set up and situated, and then my husband is the one that puts him to bed. And it's not because I don't want to put him to bed, it's because that's my son's routine and that's who he wants to put him to bed. He is autistic. He has a set schedule that we follow every day, and mommy does not put him to bed. Sometimes when he wants to procrastinate and he doesn't want to go to bed right away, then he needs to come in here and remind me that I need a hug or I need some water or I need to do this or you're talking too loud. And if I'm irritated, it's because I know he's procrastinating. It's not because I'm a shitty mom. All right? So I don't tolerate that kind of stuff. So I know people accusing me of like bullying. All right. Yeah, you guys don't know that people are doing that because I delete the comments as soon as they come in. All right. So my kid is fine. He is absolutely loved. Don't worry about my kid. Don't worry about my husband. Don't worry about my relationship. We good. All right. So today's been kind of a weird day, you guys. So today on my column, if you haven't checked out my column, I had mostly science-based stuff. If you are not familiar with the stuff I cover in the science world, I had an article about the FDA having a warning letter sent out to a company that sells kratom, and they are starting to crack down on organizations and vendors that are selling the product as a replacement for opioid addiction or a cure for opioid addiction. So if you're interested in that kind of topic, I do cover a lot of the stuff related to kratom just because it's unregulated and it's got stuff in it that's making people sick. So you can check that out. And then I had a story about a follow-up story for Noah McAdams, who is a little boy that has leukemia. I told you about him last week. You can check that out as well. And then my other story I did a video about earlier today, which, here's the thing. You guys, you come to my channel and you say that I never talk about anything positive. And then when I do talk about things that are positive, nobody watches it. And that's why I never talk about anything positive. I did a 11-minute video about Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell and the really cool things that they're doing to help families and the way that they're using their platform to spread, to stop the misinformation and spread of misinformation about vaccines. And so if you're interested in that kind of stuff and you appreciate celebrities using their platforms for good things, I did a story that is a positive one and also is about vaccines, which are very important to me. And if you're on my page and you are anti-vax or you are anti-science, we're going to have some trouble. And Jessie Bear doesn't really tolerate a whole lot of nonsense in the chat about anti-vax stuff, which is why we have rules, because I have a lot of people in the anti-vax world that hate me. As much as you don't realize that, it's true. I have a world whole outside of beauty, but beauty is fun for me because it's a way for me to chat and be a lady and have some tea and talk with friends. All right, that was a lot of housekeeping. I'm really sorry, you guys. It's on my channel. It should be on my new videos if you check it out, Corinne. Coven. It's like 10 minutes. So, all right, let's talk about what's going on with Jaclyn. She is MIA, you guys, like literally MIA. So if you remember on 22nd, which would have been Sunday or Saturday, I don't even remember. I swear to God, it's like been a week. She announced that she would be giving refunds to all of her customers who purchased her So Rich lipsticks. After she announced it, she did this like Instagram video. Did you guys see the Instagram video? Because I have a full copy of it. And if you guys want me to do the full Instagram video, I can show you it if you missed the story. I kind of forgot I had that. I downloaded it. You guys, we should watch that. Because this is like her last public statement she's made. Let's do it. I just got to find it. I'll just talk while I'm looking here. It was like this whole long sob story where she looked like she was going to cry. Well, she actually looked like she was kind of beat down. I'm not going to lie. Let me see if I can find my QuickTime player. Where is it? Oh, serious? Where is it? I'll be irritated. I deleted a ton of stuff yesterday. And I might have deleted it. I might have deleted it. Anyway, she did this video on Instagram where she was like super upset about what was going on, and she was saying she was super embarrassed about everything that happened with her products and that she totally effed up and screwed up, and she was like didn't do her due diligence and was trying to figure out what happened, and she couldn't figure out what happened. And to be honest, it sounded a lot like she just really dropped, like, I don't know. It was hard for me to take her seriously because if you're going to like download, you're going to launch a product with so many issues, you should really have a good idea of the product that you're putting out when you're putting out it. And even like weeks later, she seemed sort of oblivious and confused and downright didn't really understand what happened. And it, to me, kind of surprised me because, I don't know, I would think as a business owner, you would have a better understanding of what it is that's in your products. You would understand within a couple weeks why everything went bad. She was blaming the lab for almost everything. And then because of the lab was the problem, she said that they had to pull out of the lab and they didn't have any replacement products to give to anyone. And it was weird because she was talking about how she made this comment, like, if it was only like 3 lipsticks, I would have thought like it wasn't a big, even if it was only 3 lipsticks, I would have still felt bad about what happened. Even if 195,000 lipsticks were good, I still would have been upset, which I actually thought was kind of weird because her own company said that the issue was widespread. So I kind of felt like Jaclyn was still trying to sort of minimize the extent of the problem. And it sounds like with the amount of lipsticks that she ultimately sold, it was going to be millions of dollars that she would have to refund. And I still don't understand like why she didn't do the recall. Some people were speculating it was related to, some people were saying that it was related to the insurance. Like if she waited a certain amount of time, the insurance would come through and then she could do the recall or the refunds because she would have the insurance money. And you have insurance when it comes to manufacturing for snap issues like this because it's the lab that has the problems. And then other people were saying like she wasn't doing the recall because then there's like this whole legal aspect of it. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I think it's really scary that those products weren't recalled. And I really, you know, as much as it's been fun to watch people on YouTube sort of dig through these lipsticks and try to figure out what it is, I just want to tell you, like, every microbiologist that I've spoken to and biologist and chemist I've spoken to privately has told me, like, you probably shouldn't trust anything that's, like, tested at this point from someone that sends it to a third-party lab, because once a product is opened or once a product has been exposed, the introduction of microorganisms can be compromised, and so it's not actually like a true product. Therefore, doing testing at a third-party lab wouldn't really tell you a whole lot, and it might not be accurate. So I'm not really sure what is going on. Like, I was on the FDA website today. There's literally been no recall. And the problem with recalls with makeup is that the FDA does not require that FDA can't actually mandate the recall for the, so the FDA isn't they regulate to a point cosmetics to make sure that the products are safe, but it's actually up to the manufacturer along with the cosmetic brand to ensure the safety of their products before they go to market. And so because the FDA doesn't actually regulate the industry as a whole, only I don't know, the regulation is weird. It's like they kind of regulate it, but they don't. But because of that, they can't actually force the company to do a recall. So the recall would have to be a voluntary recall, and Jaclyn Hill's company just didn't do that. And so instead they decided to refund everybody's money and then just tell people that they could still use the lipsticks and it was still safe, which just really doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, and then there was this issue too where all of the lipsticks had the same batch code, which isn't normal in the lipstick industry. The lipsticks had hairs, they had white hairs, black hairs, particles, metal fragments, plastic fragments, just a lot of debris and junk. And she was saying that it was like the lab that did all of this, which it probably is, but at the same time, like, you would think that some of this crap would have been seen in a quality inspection, and the quality control, the quality control that's done before your packaging would have caught some of this, but apparently it did not. So the products are contaminated, clearly, and so she instead just refunded everybody's money, which if you can imagine, is bajillions of dollars because, she was charging, I don't know, $18 per lipstick, which is a lot for a new brand. And so, as if that wasn't bad enough, I think she could have some lawsuits, but the thing is like, since she's refunding the money, the only way that you could really have a lawsuit is if someone actually was like seriously injured. Otherwise, the damages wouldn't really be that extensive. You'd have to have a high amount of damages in order for a lawsuit to be worth it. And since she's already agreed to refund the money, there's like no money for them to, unless someone ends up dead, there would be really nothing to sue for. So all this whole idea about a class action lawsuit really bears no weight because no attorney is going to take a lawsuit for $18. I mean, that doesn't even make financial sense. Even if they spent $400, that doesn't make financial sense for the attorney because legal fees cost far more than that. I can just give you an example of like, I was involved in a class action lawsuit probably 10 years ago when a plumbing company was like using they fabricated this entire situation where if your house got clogged, what would happen is they would go to your house and they wouldn't really clean it out, and then it would just get clogged again, and then they'd keep coming back, and then like at one point finally they just told people, and they were lying, that their lines were completely broken. And instead of like offering them like ways to clean it or ways to repair it, they were telling people that they had to have their entire front lawns dug out and they had to replace their entire sewer system, which is what happened to us. And so we ended up spending $7,000 for that, and that we did enter a class action lawsuit for that, and we won. But no attorney would enter a lawsuit where the losses are like $18. It just doesn't make sense. So to add insult to injury, after she refunded the money, she uploads the Instagram video, which I've since deleted. I'm totally bummed, and if I do find it, I will upload it later, I guess. But Marlena then decides that she needs to insert herself in the drama, which at the point of it being where it was, I don't know that it was even necessary for Marlena to make the statements. Like, I can understand Marlena saying, like, I'm a concerned brand owner, but at the same time, it's like literally nothing to do with you, Marlena. It's not your brand. It's not your product. It's none of your business. Like, in my house, we'd be like, that's none ya. You got to stay none your business, right? But we're going to get to what's going on with Marlena because there's some rumblings that Marlena is having some financial issues and might be actually on the verge of bankruptcy. So Marlena inserted herself and decided that she had to tell everyone about how she saw Jaclyn at this lab in 2016, and the lab was like really terrible. And Marlena says that everyone in the industry knows that this lab is terrible, and Marlena actually had to pull her concealers because they were made by this lab, and when she got them, they had hairs in them, they were gritty, they had debris in them, they had like, not all of them were bad, but enough of them were bad that they decided that they were just going to pull them and not sell them. And so Marlena said that she tried to tell Jaclyn that she shouldn't use this lab, and she assumed that Jaclyn used the lab because she saw her there in 2016. Who knows? I mean, it's 2019. It'd be hard to say whether or not she used that lab in 2016. If you are into gossip, there is actually a link. There are people on the Gossip Guru Gossiper, Gigi, today talking about how they think they figured out the lab that she used, something called oxygen something. I don't know. But I don't know. That's like all rumor. Either way. So Marlena said that this lab was bad. She tried to warn Jaclyn about this lab, and then Marlena started talking about how she was talking to all these like CEOs of billion-dollar companies, and everyone was so embarrassed about what Jaclyn was doing to the industry. which I don't really even know if that's even true. Like, how would someone who has such a small brand, like an indie brand, like what she has, make that kind of rumbling in like the lipstick world? I mean, sure, it made waves on social media and that kind of stuff, but overall, like, it's not. I don't know. I don't believe that this made that big of a like belly flop in the cosmetics world as a whole. I don't think people were like, ew, everybody's lipsticks are going to be like that, because it was a once in a lifetime thing that many of us had never seen. Like, I've literally never seen lipstick that looks like that. So anyways, then so Marlena was kind of dragging her, talking about how, Jaclyn pulled out of this launch with her and she took responsibility for not signing the contract with her. And then she was talking about how, she was concerned about, people's public health, and she had to like tell everyone, and she was worried, and blah, 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 blah. And I know this isn't popular, but I know that the people that do like me realize that I'm straight shooter, and I still think that like Marlena inserting herself into this shit is because some shit's going on with her business and she needs to stay relevant, and she's trying to drum up attention. And y'all might love Marlena, and I can't even tell you how many freaking subscribers I lost because I spoke out against Marlena, heaven forbid. But I don't think it helped anything for Marlena to like drag her after she had decided to refund everyone when it had nothing to do with her. And you didn't see any other influencers or even businesses commenting about it publicly, because I don't know, it puts a bad taste in my mouth as a consumer, that if you are so worried about somebody's product, why don't you just talk to them privately? There's no reason to air it out publicly. There was no reason to her to insert herself into the drama. You have information on the fibers? Tell me, Fifth World. I see you. I see you, Fifth World. Tell me. I'm super glad you got a lipstick from the drugstore, Ashley. That's great. Well, if Fifth World has information on the fibers, let me know. We're going to move on, but you can type and I will see it and you can alert me. I have you guys on pop-out chat so I can see you guys talking. All right, so I don't think it was really helpful for Jaclyn for Marlena to insert herself into the situation. It had literally nothing to do with her. It just reeks of desperation. Okay. We are undergoing a transformation. I just don't know the source. There are positive and negative fibers. Okay. All right, well, when it's... Okay, mold and candida are exactly the same thing. Okay. All right, we're going to move on. We're going to time that person out because that is not what's going on here. All right, so that was pseudoscience. All right, so see, that's what I'm talking about, you guys. I get some really lunatics. Like, I'm sorry, not lunatics. I just get some people that are very far out there. So, okay. So anyways, I digress. Don't be confused, Michelle. What she was saying was literally nothing. Chili juice will save us all. All right. So, anyways, all right. So I don't think it helped that Marlena did that, and I think it's really unprofessional. And I don't see any other influencers. It helped. Most influencers didn't want to talk about it, and were actually saying that they felt bad about it. So, anyways, let's go. So what happens is after all of this happens, so Marlena drops her video, and she's basically like accusing Jaclyn of like not doing her due diligence. And the thing about it is that like we already knew that. Like you really didn't need to say that, Marlena. There's really nothing like to talk about. And to me, it just seemed petty. It seemed like you were kind of kicking someone when they were down. And Jaclyn made mistakes, clearly. I mean, it's not okay what she did. But then, like, putting her on blast and talking about her in terms of, like, the other, you know, how it's affecting the industry and this and that, I just think it was very melodramatic. And I said that in my video the other day, that I think Marlena I think she lies. I think she manipulates people. I think she plays this good girl image, and I think she does so in a very, like, nice and appreciative way, but it's not sincere. And I want to tell you guys, like, I watched some of the micro influencers who she sort of called out. One who she didn't even name, but her name is Mel Ray. And then I watched Tina's video, the other one that she talked about in her video. And so I was watching Mel Ray, and I was like listening to how Mel Ray was talking about her and what happened to her. And I was actually thinking like what Makeup Geek did to them, what Makeup Geek did to Mel Ray actually is really shady and really crappy. And Tina had the exact same experience. And so when you have like multiple people that have the same story, and then people in the industry that are like on the lower level telling you that this company is treating them like crap, or that their products aren't very good, or, you know, they hadn't put out a product in like, I don't know, 2 years. That's a really big deal in the makeup world. And because there was such like a time and place, I think the number one like red flag to me that Marlena was in financial trouble. And I only know this because I have spent a lot of time like covering fraud and covering like Ponzi schemes and covering like, you know, just people that are about to go broke or like betting on the last dollar to do this or that. She said that she has to have, so she said it like this, and I'll just use these. So she said, she said, I need the money that I sell from this in order to get this started for production. So if this isn't going to start and I need to start this with that money, then I can't start this and I can't start that, and I'm out of money. Which means that the products that she actually has on the market, she's not making revenue from and are not selling. If anyone in business will tell you that if you have to rely on the sales of what's next to pay for what's coming, a lot of times that's fraud, or you're broke, or you're trying to pay off investors, or you have this, it's almost like a Ponzi scheme without the Ponzi scheme. Like she has to pay one off with another. And that's just not really how, robbing Peter to pay Paul. And that's really just like, that's not, or an MLM, exactly. And that's just really not like the signs of a healthy business. If the business doesn't have the capital to release new products, and they're relying on the like income and revenue of the newly launched products, that means that whatever's on the market that they already have isn't moving, isn't selling, they aren't having enough revenue coming in. So they're relying solely on these launches, which isn't a sustainable way for any business to run. You have to have like every business has to have core products that they rely on to be sustainable and like consistent sellers. And if you don't have that, then you end up in this position where you are going to end up having to rob Peter to pay Paul. And the way that she was describing it to me is, I think that Makeup Geek, and this is just based on my opinion of the 20 years of experience I have in the business world, but I think she might be going bankrupt, or she might be bankrupt. I can't see under any circumstance at this point how she would have funding, being that they haven't released any new products in 2 years. And the new products that they have released have been palettes that they say are new shades, but they're actually not new shades. It's kind of a mess. So, and when I did, yeah, and the funny thing is, you guys, if you go onto the Makeup Geek website, she is selling those cardboard components. She is like, all of her products are very like, they are like slashed to the bone. A lot of the products are completely sold out. There are some things that are remaining, but not a lot. Like a lot of the lipsticks are completely sold out. A lot of the eyeshadows are completely sold out. They're selling like empty palettes. It almost just seems like it's a going out of business sale when you're on their website, and nothing's new. When I was on their website, I noticed that they're new. It says new, and it was like almost a year old. Like if you're saying something's new and it's a year old, you're like literally not updating your website. So I wonder how much money she's getting. And then that was the other thing is I saw like she does have the Target collaboration, but whenever I've been in Target, I've never seen Makeup Geek there. Ever. And I'm in Minnesota, and Target is actually based in Minnesota. And unless I'm just like not looking in the right place, but I haven't seen like Makeup Geek there. Yeah, if they do have Makeup Geek there, it's not very much. And they do have like a bunch of stuff online, but they don't have a ton. And it's not like when you go to like the beauty section online at Target, it's not, you have to actually search for the brand. It's not one that they have like forefront for everyone else. Target's been sort of, if you've been to Target lately, they've sort of reformatted their beauty section, and they've moved away from Makeup Geek as a whole in terms of like their products. And they have these new products like NYC and other like trying to be sort of higher end that isn't Makeup Geek. But when I was at the Target, and I go there all the time, I haven't seen Makeup Geek there. So, and I think in terms of like the eyeshadows and like the single ones, I think ColourPop came out with a bunch of single ones, and I think that sort of took their place in the market. Target really does have a good makeup section, I'm not gonna lie. I get my face wipes there and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, so I feel like she's going broke. And then back to Jaclyn. So I'm just like, you guys, I'm all over the place today. Jaclyn deleted her Twitter. She deleted her Instagram. She is like gone, you guys. She's literally gone. She has no social media at all. She has like, there's this Instagram page that says like Jaclyn's Closet, which is it's run by her sister. That's like the word on the street. And they shared an update earlier today, which basically said that Jaclyn was taking a break because she was trying to get away from all of the negative all of the negative feedback, all of the negative comments, everything. I think she's off social media because I think she's worried about a lawsuit. I think she's got lawyers that are trying to control what she's saying. I think that she could be in legal hot water. She could be with her lab or with people that she works with, or there could be a lot of things going on here, but I don't think that it's like she's taking a mental health break. I think it's probably related to some sort of legal beagle. So Jaclyn's missing. She's not on Instagram. She deleted her Twitter. And she's okay though, you guys. She is in a dark place and she is resting somewhere in Florida. That's all I got for you on that. And that all happened after Marlena dropped her video. So Marlena did the video where she outs her, says she uses a shitty lab, says that she's making a mockery of the makeup community, and then Jaclyn the next day deletes her Twitter and Instagram. So that's Jaclyn. Now for Marlena, here's where we got. So in her video, she was talking about these micro influencers. She brought up Tina, who is a fancy face, I think. She is beautiful. If you ever want to see, like, she's Jamaican, she is feisty. She actually she does really nice makeup. She sort of talked about a lot of the issues in a video last year where she was talking about how she was irritated with her video, Marlena's video, where she was calling out the Tina, the fancy face, yes, where she was calling out, where Marlena was calling out the influencers for having paid advertisements or paid sponsorships for $60,000 or whatever, and how she can't afford to do that because she's an indie brand, blah, 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 blah. And so Tina was like basically telling her that, like, you used to send me PR. And so I guess she explained like the very long history about how Makeup Geek was a forum way back in the day and Marlena ran it. And that's where almost all of these influencers that you see today started. That's where Nikki Tutorials started. That's where Jaclyn Hill started. That's where Manny was. That's where like a lot of these really big influencers were. And so she had this forum, and then through that forum, she developed relationships with different influencers. And then through that, she was able to sort of capitalize on the fact that she owned this website, and then she launched the brand, and then she had her YouTube channel, and Patrick as well. So she was able to foster a lot of these relationships, and as the people got bigger, she sort of exploited the fact that they started on her platform. But what happened was there was a lot of people on that platform that actually used the platform as well that Marlena was sort of trying to rip off. Like, she was asking influencers or very small time makeup people to do things for $100, or she would just send them PR and tell them to do a review and not pay them for it. Or Tina actually talked about how she sent them the loose powders, and they were so poorly made that the containers were cracking, the sifters were broken, you couldn't even get it out. She had problems with multiple products that she sold to her. She said that some of the eyeshadows were just really badly made. The packaging was really poorly crafted. There was some products that she said were fine, but she said that ultimately the problem with Makeup Geek was that they were putting out really crappy products and then blaming everyone else for it, and then just not running the business in a way that is professional or appropriate. And Tina brought up a lot of the things that I had said in my video where everyone was like, you're a bitch, where I was like, she doesn't act professionally. She's not, she's not responding to things in a appropriate manner. And Tina really just said, like, she felt used because she did a lot of work. She did a lot of reviews for her. And then she sort of just like, once she had the people at the top, like Jaclyn, to sort of coddle, and Manny to coddle, and, James Charles to sort of hobnob with, everyone else that was beneath her was like irrelevant to her. And so, but she would use them for cheap work, cheap labor, not pay them. And people just in the industry as a whole, all of those influencers didn't like her and realized that she was kind of a bee, and the image that she was portraying to other people didn't match the persona that they, or the person that they knew. So free reviews basically. And Tina is, oh my God, I want to thank Dion for sharing that video with me, because Tina is beautiful. Oh my God. And her makeup is gorgeous. And she's a very small influencer, like less than 100,000 subscribers. And but she knew Marlena before Marlena was big, and Marlena kind of shat all over her. And all she said to Marlena in that video was like, if you want to know what's wrong with your business, it's you. If you want to know why your business is failing, it's you. You're not a good businessman, woman. You've made really crappy business choices. And she was like calling her out and saying it's really ridiculous for her to come at these influencers that are like James Charles and whoever that are asking for $60,000 and acting like it's like out of the realm. I'll link Tina's video in the description when we're done. She was basically just saying that, like, if she would have done things differently, she might have been able to do that. But instead, she wanted to blame everyone else for all of her issues, and that the influencers weren't like saying to do things for 60 grand just because they just came with that number out of their butt. It's because other brands were paying them for that same amount. And Marlena was trying to blame it and say like, well, companies aren't getting a return on an investment for this. And I don't think that's true. Like, I don't think if they weren't getting a return on investment, they wouldn't use these influencers. So anyways, basically, Tina was honest and said, your product, you wasted so much time. You didn't put out any new products. ColourPop replaced you. You didn't keep up with the trends. You didn't work fast enough. You made a lot of really bad business decisions, and the only one responsible for you for your business failing is you. So there are a lot of things that and then, yes, you're right, Dion. Thank you for reminding me. She increased her prices. So she initially started with having single $5 like eyeshadows, and she increased the price times 2. So she went from $5 to $10 for some of the products. Some of the products went up to $30. Like, she changed from being an affordable product to trying to be a premium product. And the product, like, the vision of the company changed, and she just had no direction. And then all of the product launches failed, and then all of the products that came out were crappy. And so, Tina was just very like, stop blaming everyone else. This is your problem. You don't have to pay influencers money. You could offer them other things and they would probably do it for you. Like, don't make this everyone's problem but yours. And so that's why Marlena had to like go on and on and on about Tina in this video, because she felt like Tina was sort of exposing Makeup Geek for what it was. The other thing that she talked about in that video was about a woman that she would not disclose, but her name is actually Mel Ray Siegel. She lives in Germany. Her husband's a professional hockey player, and she was talking about how she is like a very micro, like, Mel Ray's actually like a professional makeup artist, and she doesn't actually she just does YouTube for fun. And she doesn't do it for she doesn't have a lot of subscribers. She doesn't do videos very often. Before she uploaded to respond to Marlena's video this week, she hadn't uploaded a video in like a couple months. She doesn't upload that many a year. It's not like her big thing. She's like, it's just not. She does photography. She does makeup for like other people, but she doesn't she said YouTube is like a hobby for her. And so, what she said was that, because Marlena in the video said that she tried to extort her basically for like $60,000, and Mel Ray said that's not even the case. That's not what happened. They tried to approach them, and because she found out after the fact. So basically what happened with Mel Ray is she said that Makeup Geek approached her and asked her to take a picture with a new contour. And they told her what they wanted the photo to look like, how they wanted it to be, and then they asked her to do a review. And then for that, they would give her a photo credit that would go on a blog post and then in a store, which at the time Marlena was in the process of launching a physical store. And they would credit her. and they said that they would credit her for that work and pay her $100. So she said she wasn't really worried about the money at the time. She thought the crediting at that point would be more important to her to give her more exposure. But when it launched, they didn't credit her. They only said Melissa. They didn't say her name. They didn't say where to find the person. They just showed the picture on when they launched it on YouTube. And then the photo went up on the blog post, and then like Mel Ray thought that was it. That was over. But then after Marlena dropped the video about the 60 grand to the influencers, she ended up it would have been a huge deal had they got the credit, but she ended up finding her photo on their website, on their shop, which she said she never consented to. She said she consented to them using it in a blog post and in a physical store, but she never consented to them using it at a online shop. So basically they had been using a photo that was her copyrighted photo without her consent for 2 years on their website. And so she said that she consulted with an attorney, and they talked to industry experts and people based on like usage and rights and licensing. And they were asking her for a total of $13,000. And Mel Ray said that she didn't even really want the money. It wasn't really about the money. Ultimately, she just wanted Makeup Geek to like admit that they did her dirty, that they didn't pay her, that they were a breach of contract. But she said that Makeup Geek was like that Makeup Geek never wouldn't comply with them, wouldn't allow them to get information to prepare for a lawsuit, wouldn't allow them to do anything, wouldn't even negotiate with them. And so it got to a point where they couldn't even talk anymore, and there wasn't enough money. It would have cost more money for them to go to court. And they literally like when she tried to talk to Makeup Geek about it, like they were trying to come up with a number. Like, if we're going to go to court, we need to know a number. And if we're going to go to court, we need to talk about what the number would be. And Makeup Geek wouldn't even talk to her about it. So she actually never sued her. She said that the letter was like an attempt to bring to a negotiation, like what they would be going to court for. And she said that Makeup Geek admitted in one breath they totally effed her over. They didn't have the rights. And the next minute said that they did. She doesn't have anything pending, Terry. There's zero pending. She said that. They're not going to sue her. She said that flat out. Like, she's not suing her. So, anyway, that's Mel Ray. Mel Ray's, she did a video yesterday and today. Today's video, actually, she exposes how Makeup Geek launched a palette over Christmas, and Marlena said that the palette contained all new shades. But when Mel Ray got it, and she's in Germany, so she just got it. She ordered it a long time ago, but it had to go through customs and everything. And when she popped them out it was a magnetic palette. So when she popped the little dishes out and she put them up, on the carton it said it was named this, but then on the back of it was named something else. And at least four or five of the colors were already colors that were offered in the store by Makeup Geek. And so they sold this as a limited edition product. It was like heavily marked up because it was all exclusive colors, and at least 5 of the colors she already had. So that's another indication that they're just trying to unload products. They're trying to find a way to recoup their costs in any way possible. And Mel Ray also said that she heard a birdie that Marlena is on the verge of bankruptcy and is going to be filing bankruptcy soon. So Mel Ray has a lot of connections to Makeup Geek that have left the company since and have been telling her what's been going on. And from what she says, it's things aren't good. Now, you have to take it with a grain of salt. But to be honest, like, her story makes way more sense to me than Marlena's. And I always just go with the sniff test. And if it seems more realistic and it seems like it makes more sense, I'm going to go with that. So I would encourage you guys, to check her out. I think Dion knows the channel. She can tell you that. The other one is like Mariste, and it's a clothing line, and it's horrible, you guys. Like, it offers like 3 pairs of pants and a few t-shirts. Do you want me to show you what this company looks like? It's horrible. Mel Ray, can you give them the link to Mel Ray's channel, Dion? Marst. Marst is her brand. Or Marstay. But you guys, I'm just gonna pop this up for you. And this, you guys, they have so few clothes. I don't know what she's doing here. All right. All right, so this is her clothing company. I can show you, but it has like, let's see, these are the tops. There are 4 tops, 3 bodysuits, and a long sleeve sweater. Then they have 4 pairs of pants. And then they have a few skirts and a dress. It looks very basic. And then they have a couple sweaters. That's it. That's like her clothing line. That's what she's got. And this is like what she's putting her energy into right now. The clothing looks terrible. Yeah. The prices are terrible. So, I feel like she's sort of ditching Makeup Geek, and then she's going to try to like launch this clothing brand, and it's going to be a hot mess. If you like the clothing, that's good. Like, it's just not my taste. But, you know, this is my taste. T-shirts and pants and holy jeans. Is there a jewelry? Yeah, there is a jewelry line, but I don't remember the website. So, word on the curb is Marlena's going broke. So, this was like fun, you guys. Can I just tell you that I love my live chats and I love my live streams because you girls and boys make me so happy. And I don't even care. Yes, and Scarlett says, blame Jessie. What if Marlena and Jaclyn do end up in a corner, like, sobbing uncontrollably? Yeah. Anyways, that's what I got for you tonight, and I am so happy to have this day with you. Now, you guys, Jessie Bear she helped me with a video. So make sure you check it out. It's 10 tips or 10 mistakes that beauty influencers make. If you don't know, Jessie Bear is a licensed cosmetologist and makeup artist, and why the whole like joke is that blame Jessie is because Jessie is really into science, and she's into like, she's pro-vaccine, and like she is sort of like on my wavelength, and she was like, you should really look into the beauty world because there's a lot of pseudoscience and misinformation. So the whole like blame Jessie hashtag is because Jessie is who sent me down this rabbit hole. But Jessie also has a ton of really amazing like knowledge and experience working as a makeup artist for 10 years. And she's not just like one of those YouTube makeup artists that pretends they're a makeup artist. She's licensed, and she does hair as well. And so, no, there's no such things as vaccine injury. You are gone. Anyways, watch the video that Jessie helped me out with, because Jessie talked about things that beauty influencers do that are just really like make industry professionals cringe, and things that are just not practical, some things that are just not hygienic. So yeah, it was fun. She actually wrote it. So Jessie actually put together a little script for me, and I just read from it. It was like an interview. And then I added some images, and then I added some stuff from the FDA at the end. So, but yeah, I'm going to needle and push and prod Jessie to get like set up with her own little camera, and when her baby is a little bit bigger, to do some stuff on YouTube, because she's got so much to share. Yes, the using your fingers. That's what we talked about in that Dion. And it was all the gross things that they do. All the gross things. The doggies aren't in here. See? They're not in here, guys. Sorry. They're sleeping. All right, you guys, I'm out. But thank you for joining me. That was the Rambling Tea with Katie, and I feel bad for people that walk into these after the fact, because I'm talking to my stream and it's just like a gab fest, really. But maybe some people enjoy that. I don't know. Anyways, you guys, I will be back tomorrow, although I have a date night, so I'm not going to be live tomorrow, but I'll probably do some videos during the day. Check out my channel. I did 2 short videos today if you want to see those, one on Dax and Kristen, and then one on the mistakes that beauty influencers make. All right, you guys, I'm gone. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, you guys are awesome. And if you have anything that you want to talk to me about, send me a DM. I am on Twitter at WOA Crystal Ball. And if I do not respond to you right away, do not feel slighted. I have ADHD and I do not always respond, or I forget. I literally have text messages in here from a week or 2 weeks ago that I haven't responded to. I just forget. All right, you guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.